Hey guys, welcome back to the Detour Live. We've only got 2 stages left of the 2021 Tour de France, and we're up and about. We're excited. How good's life? I'm your host, Dan Jones, 4-time national road champion, all-round great guy, Johnny Trevorrow, Olympic gold medalist. That's right, U2000 in the Madison, Olympic commentator Scotty McGrory, and the voice of cycling. You know, what an absolute legend. And he's got a film coming out in the UK, hopefully the next couple of weeks. We've been delayed. We were higher, now it starts going down again. But anyway, fellas, it was another great stage at the Tour de France. Unfortunately, Cavendish could not get the record. But I think that was because pre-start, he was having a bit of a dummy spit. What was your take on the footage that circulated, Phil?
The dummy spit. What's this one about?
Have you seen it? Let's show you the video. Let's show you the video. This is what happened.
Il représente le Danemark, un ancien vainqueur de Liège, face à Liège, du Tour de Lombardie, double vainqueur du Critérium du Dauphiné. C'est Jakob Fuglsang.
He dropped the. If you hear it, he dropped the F-bomb as he walked in the car.
I've never seen that. Never seen that. That's how tense he was. I think we all prophesied it wouldn't be a bunch sprint because there's so many guys want to win a stage of the race, and it worked out. Somebody had already won a stage one from a breakaway, which only had 2 of the Tour stage winners in that big 30-man group that got away, but. They were never in that race. But like all showmen, he'll probably win on the Champs-Elysees and get his 35 stage victories.
Probably. He put out an apology later. He tweeted he was sorry. You know, they're all family.
Of course he did.
And I'm just saying, he did all of that. But hey.
He's an emotional guy. He doesn't even know what he says half the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bad look though, because you know particularly when it's dealing with staff. Like, I mean, you know, everyone gets pissed off. I mean, that's life. 2020, 2021. I mean, it's going to continue.
Yeah.
But the problem is obviously the optics is bad. You know, you're doing that in front of the crowd, but also like, you know, really, like you're dealing with mechanics. You're going to get the same result, and this is obviously, you know, talking like a chilled cat that I am. You know, you're going to get the same result by just saying, if there is an issue, just talk to people the way you want to be spoken to. Iffy, isn't that the old rule in life?
Wow.
Get stuffed.
Let's face it, the mechanics know him in his tantrums. They know him. It would have been water off a duck's back with that mechanic. He did, he's throwing a tantrum. I'll just do his bike for him when he comes back.
I saw a photo popping up a couple of months ago of Cav with that mechanic and another mechanic all cuddling. It'll be a while before they cuddle again, I think. But anyway.
Scooter, do you reckon it was because Cav had anxiety because he probably heard that Eddie was at the start line? Because there's all these images of, you know, Eddie and it's, you know, arms around, it's all happy for the cameras, but it probably rattled him a bit, thinking, "Oh, geez, you know, the great man." He, you know, adds another layer.
Yeah. The other great man. Look, regardless, okay, he's done this so many times before. He's won 34 stages. Yeah, he's poised to break Eddie's record. All of that stuff. He's had a great tour. The team's looked after him, and what he did was completely unacceptable. The staff of all of the teams, they work incredibly hard. Those mechanics have been doing it for a long time. They are the best in the business. And yeah, there was a bit of an issue with his bike, with his headset. It can be fixed. There's also a spare bike you can get onto. It's not the end of the world, and no one, regardless of who you are, deserves to be spoken to like that.
Scotty, I'm Mark Cavendish.
No, don't care who you are. If you're Patrick Lefevre or you're Mark Cavendish, you do not talk to people like that are part of a team. And you know, look, he's not getting paid $1 million to be the mechanic. You know, they are down the lower end of income and certainly work incredibly hard. Okay, they're not peddling the bikes, but they're the first up, last to bed. And that was appalling behaviour from a guy that should know much, much better, despite all of the pressure and the tantrums, and he's a sprinter and all of that bullshit. No, unacceptable. Yeah. And it was a fake apology, and I hope he has his tail between his legs.
Phil, you're the manager of Quickstep. What do you do to sort that out?
Nothing. They'll do
Nothing will
absolutely
happen.
nothing, I'll tell you.
No.
We spoke with Patrick Lefebvre on the roadside yesterday. We found him on the roadside during our live coverage, one of our reporters, and we had a lovely interview with him. And he's like Cavendish. He's so emotional. He's so happy to have Cav back. And we even said, but you're not paying him any money. He said, but he wants to ride the Tour de France. And so he gets on. It's a fairy tale for the team. And look, those mechanics have worked with Cav long enough to know that this is normal. I mean, if it happened to Matt, I don't believe Matthew. Matthew came on our show yesterday, but his BlackBerry let him down. He blew up.
On NBC. Yeah. Oh no, it's a bit bigger scale than the old detour, Whitey.
It was not the BlackBerry. It was the French Communication Network, mate.
I think it was. I think it was. We're sorry we lost it, though, Matt.
Whitey, we've just been
talking to myself.
We've just been talking about Cav's meltdown with the mechanic before the start of the stage, and how it's such a bad look for for the team, for the sport, whatever. What's your the old Cav is back.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that mechanic's been working with him for about 15 years as well, so he certainly knows him. Anyway,
which is why he wouldn't. Which is why he won't take this bit too seriously. He knows.
No. And like everything, anything that happens on the Tour de France gets a lot of media attention, especially when you do it in front of the fans.
So much. The first time I saw it was on the podcast. I hadn't seen that yesterday. I've just seen it now for the first time.
What's funny, like a slab of beer fixes everything. Like if you had an incident like that, you drop off a slab to the mechanics that night, fixes everything. Like that's all you have to do, and then you move on. So it should be fine.
Yeah, but what Cav does, what Cav does is when he puts down that slab of beer, he takes one out and gives it to the mechanic and takes the others back home.
How's all going, Whitey? What were your takeaways from yesterday's stage, mate?
Yeah, mate, it was a really strange day. So obviously there was early crashes which caused a split in the group. Then the break went. That was sort of the start of the break, really early. 6 riders there, and I think there's a lot of teams who haven't won a stage here. There's only 8 teams who've won a stage, and Alpes and Quickstep were playing the card of, well, we're not working today, which I found it a strange one. So it was only Alpecin were chasing. They had it at 4 minutes, and then after our guys went really hard for the intermediate sprint, which is uphill, they got hit over the top by a group of 5 or 6 riders, and it just kicked off from there. It was 150k to go. The break was at 4 minutes, and it was just volleys of attacks for the next couple of hours, and it was a very, very strange day. You would have thought it would have been a very controlled sprint stage, and it turned into a really aggressive stage yesterday, and entertaining in the end for the ones who won. But it would really hard to predict what it would have happened yesterday before the start.
Scooter.
Yeah, look, it was what was it, 47.6 or 47.7 k's an hour average speed for 207 kilometres. Amazing. But what was the report from the guys, like Durbo, that will have a crack in the time trial today? What was the reports from in the peloton? Did they, even though it's super long, were they able to at least get I guess some kind of rest, even though despite it being over 200 k's?
It was pretty full on, and there was I'm not sure how many crashes you guys picked up on television, but there was multiple crashes, and I was talking to the guys. There's just a lot of guys who are really, really tired. Just lack of concentration, a clip of wheels, and 10 guys go down. It happened probably 3 or 4 times yesterday, which caused some quite big pileups. Durbo was actually one of the guys who crashed in one of those early crashes yesterday. He should be okay. He was just behind before. He's just going out now to have a recon of the TT course because he's not on until this afternoon.
Actually, can you give some insight just for the listeners? What the guys that are really focused on doing a good TT, you're up on GC or a good time trialer. What is the procedure today? Has he already seen this course, or have you guys seen this course? And Durbo's ridden it himself previously, or is it just today that he gets to do it? And what was the protocols leading into this?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is depending on how technical the TTs are. Yeah, so today, for example, So we've got Marco Pinotti is our time trial specialist. He's one of our coaches as well. So because obviously we can see the files, he came 2 days ago and videoed the course, checked out the course, and so all the guys have had access to a video of the course for 24 hours. The guys who are going hard today, which is Esteban and Luke, we're about 40k from the hotel. They had breakfast at the hotel, drove out here this morning. They will go and ride the course with Marco following them. Like I said, it's not a technical course, so it's not one where you got to remember technical corners or descents or anything else. It's flat, and it's a big block. And then they'll come back after they've done the recon, have some lunch, depending on what time they race this afternoon, chill out in the bus, and then 40 minutes, probably about 40 minutes before their time trial, get back on the home trainer, do a short, intense warm up just to get the heart rate up again, and then off they go.
And the routine for the staff, it's all about pizza. Time trial day.
No, pizza's a banned, mate. Pizza's a ban.
Oh, what?
No pizzas anymore. Yeah, no pizzas anymore, mate.
Shattering.
Yeah.
Well, that's really
it all depends. Some of the TTs, if we identify that they're technical ones, for example, if we have done in the past with say Simon Yates, if he's targeting GC at the Giro, we might go there with him in 2 months prior. Like when we're in Italy in March, we know the course, we know it's technical, and we'll go ride it in March so he can have a bird's eye view of it. And has a good mental picture of what it's like. But it's always better to have a look at it on the day as well, so it's nice and fresh. And a lot of the technical ones as well, all depends how they're barricaded off as well. So one thing is checking out the course with normal traffic or no traffic. Or that's another one. If you're reconning a prologue or something in the center of a city, you're wasting your time looking at it until it's actually barricaded off, because you're not going to, if you're riding something in traffic at 20k an hour, stop start, going down the wrong way of streets, you don't get a very good idea of that. So you're better off to use that window that the organisers provide, where it is closed to traffic, and having a good look at it at race speed.
Has there been a big advancement in the warm-up protocol? Because I was talking to Jamie Anderson about 4 months ago about this, and it was around the heat training and getting the right temperature, whereas the old days, remember, you used to have those vests that would try and cool the guys down, whereas they found all these studies that totally changed that before a time trial.
No, I think most of the teams now are still using, it all depends again on the temperature. Today it's going to be 30 degrees. So nearly all the teams are still using, you want to keep your core body temperature low. Fans, they still use wet towels because wet towel or some kind of ice vest. The wet towels are effective because you can keep changing them. So you have a bucket of ice cold water, and then put the wet towels on the guys' backs and keep regularly changing them. But you want to stay cool, you want to stay hydrated, and depending on.
Oh, he's dropped out. It always freaks me out. It always freaks me out.
Depending on reception or depending on BlackBerry.
Yeah. Well, that's
I was enjoying that too. I was actually taking notes about what he was saying for the first time. I was enjoying that.
Free Ranger, thanks for the heads up, Scotty. He said maybe Michael Rasmussen can coach Cav for the TT. There was that famous time trial in 2005.
One of the classics in the polka dot. In the polka dot. Yeah.
I'll just rattle through some of the comments from the guys. Keep them coming in. Lee Barry says, how many riders that were going to the Olympics have been taken out in crashes? It's hard to name off the top of your head, but probably be at least half a dozen.
Come on, viewers. You can tell us that. Our viewers will tell us that.
Well, we had Hagen Hamilton. So Haig's not going, but Hamilton still is. And then you had Simon Yates, who is still going, but had that abdominal bruising. So there's three just there. Anyway,
a lot of backup for your comments before about Cav Scooter. Samantha In says, totally agree, Scott. No excuse. Noel Sen says, thank you, Scott. Correct. Speaking badly to others never helps.
Paralympian Noel Sens from 2000 Hurricanes.
Wendy Superfan says, hi guys, the mechanics and behind the scenes guys deserve medals. Whitey's back. How are you, mate? Is that the BlackBerry
Good,
or
put the phone in the fridge for a couple of minutes?
Now, Whitey, I've got a quick question for you, mate, because I've heard a rumor that the reason the Cav exploded is that you are getting to him. The whole tactic of bike exchange, hitting him early, putting him under pressure, it's been building and building, and that's what's got to it. Any truth to that rumor?
I don't know. Well, we certainly haven't given up. I don't think that Quickstep probably thought we're going to persist as long and as hard chasing these points. But we've given ourselves a chance. We're going to need a pretty special event to happen on the Champs-Élysées tomorrow to roll in. But we're in the game, and the guys haven't given up, which has been really, really good.
I think Scotty McGrory has got a tactic for you. He's used it in a Bay Crits on a corner as a special way of cornering. Maybe. I'm just wondering if you've got any tactical advice for Bling.
No, we're not going to go down that path. I have had the conversation with the other Olympic gold medalist, double Olympic gold medalist that I had that incident with back then, Graham Brown. It was something that I regret doing.
I wasn't going to bring anything up. You dobbed yourself in, mate. But
anyway, if you're going to mention it, I'll bring it to light. Yeah, absolutely.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure, absolutely. Transparency. But no, it's not. Look, these are the things that I guess, Whitey, you have thought about, because it did happen before with, Peter Sagan's relegation or disqualification, and then Kittel not making the time limit. No crashes involved in that when Michael won the green jersey last time. But there's, no one's wishing it. But these are the things that could happen. Probably unlikely now, though, on the last day.
Yeah, it is. Well, for us to win the green jersey, we have to win on the Champs-Élysées and Cav not finish in the top 10, I think. So he's got a pretty good strike record on the Champs-Élysées. But our focus will just be trying to put Michael in his best position, especially with Luca, and see what result they can come out with tomorrow evening.
Well, Cav has dropped his chain just after the finish of nearly every stage, evidently. It's something he does. So maybe if he drops the chain about a kilometre from the finish, hey, it could work.
Tell me there is a chance.
What's with that? Do we know how that works? I know Heinrich Hausler, when he won the Australian National Championships at Buninyong, Ballarat, when he sprinted across the line, his chain popped off as well. So it must be just that stop pedaling. It just flicks the thing off.
Yeah, it must be. Because I've seen those photos as well, but I haven't seen any video footage or anything with actually the chain actually off. I think it looks real bad and skips when they stop pedaling, but I don't actually think the chain has actually come off.
Well, it's like your BlackBerry. Once you make a good point or you've used it, it just blows up, so you don't need it anymore. Samantha wants to know, Whitey, how long do they get on the home trainer, the riders generally on TT?
Yeah, look, I think a half hour would be a good time. I think probably a little bit less on a TT like today, because the ones who'll do the guys who are going really hard will do like a pre-start or a morning ride, and then they'll do just a shorter, more intense warm-up before they get on. Whereas a prologue, some guys might do a little bit more of it, spend a little bit more time for a short, intense prologue, because they haven't opened up because it's the first day of the race. But 20 days into the race, a morning ride, you don't need as much time to get the heart rate going and get everything moving again.
We've got another comment from Simon Knowles. Says, kudos to Whitey for calling in while trying to get Bike Exchange up and about. Whitey, is that one of the challenging things, obviously being a DS, is your job is obviously tactics, but can you give us insight into sort of the motivation side of things and trying to work out different ways of getting your point across every day at the Tour de France and what you deliver on each given stage? How do you work that out?
Yeah, well, and what the most important thing or the most relevant thing is actually knowing your athletes, and then knowing who responds to what. And so my team meetings here have been a little bit different to the ones at the Giro. But, when different leaders react to things in different ways. And so Simon Yates, obviously I know him quite well, done a few Grand Tours with him. And the meetings are a bit different when you're writing for general classification, and you've got to be consistent for that 3 weeks. Whereas here, we've had days where we've really gone after, and so the meetings are a little bit more intense on certain days than others. And also, if you're intense all the time, it loses the effect as well. The Tour de France is like doing 20 grand finals in a row. Every day is like a world championship or a World Cup race, the race at the highest level. And you've also got to be able to manage people's stress and what the emotion and the stress that they're going through over that 3 weeks. And so how you deliver the message to the individuals and a team has to be changed throughout the 3 weeks as well.
Iffy?
No, it's only 2 days to go. It's good to see that Dan was getting excited again today. He's been going downhill, but he's on and up. What about you?
I'm a yo-yo. I'm a yo-yo, mate.
It's been a pretty solid 3 weeks. I know that you would have loved to have won a stage. It doesn't look like that's going to be a possibility with 2 stages to go, and not much chance of it, except if Blink can pull off a ripper tomorrow, I suppose. But how would you judge this tour from Bike Exchange's point of view?
Yeah, look, it's been a rough one. We had obviously Armin Janssen crash on the first day, one of our big guys in the engine room, and he actually didn't race the Tour de France. He just survived for as long as he could, and he was just sort of starting to come around, and then he crashed on day 6, and then he went home on day 12. So we've been one guy short from the start. The plan was to go harder for those opening stages with Michael Matthews, second on the first stage. He had a bit of a rough one the day, went really deep on the first stage, paid for it the day after. And we were bopping around there with top fives through that first week. And the plan was to target the mountain stages with Simon Yates.
Oh, just getting into that. Frozen again. Well, as the Button Brat says, the Blackberry needs an ice vest.
Rex, that's Rex in the background. Yes.
Yeah. Oh well, that's a shame. And then the Skull says, "Get Whitey a new phone." In fact, we might have to. We've obviously, Phil, been talking about the Kareka Foundation quite a lot every day, and keep those donations coming in. But if you do have extra change, maybe we could do a bit of a rattle around and get Whitey a new BlackBerry or an iPhone.
I think that, it might, then we can, well, good idea, that.
So that website,
never used it.
kariega.co.za/Peloton. And we will be checking in probably in the next couple of days with Jace from the Maldives, talk more detail about that amazing prize that he's offered up for anyone that does donate to the foundation. And we're going to run that until the end of the Tour of Spain, Iffy.
Yes, and that's going to be great. I mean, what a prize, hey? I'm trying to wangle how I can get myself into the competition, but anyway, we'll see. But no, it's absolutely. My brother has been diving there, and he stayed in one of those elevated places like he's talking about. He said it was he said it was just absolutely stunning. The water's so clear, it's just gorgeous. So be a wonderful place to go. So fantastic prize.
Chris Bourne's done a lot of snookering. What do they call it? Snorkeling. Scuba diving. That's it. Yeah.
You can play snooker down there, but it's a very slow game.
And Jason Cruz, who is supplying that, little bit of research I've done. He used to ride for there was a bike shop in Brisbane called Bike Style, which was Laurie Cranley, John, who then started the Bike Style tours to the Tour de France, which he
guy.
later then sold. Yeah, so that became one of the most, if not the most successful of the bike tour groups to Europe. And Jason used to ride for that bike shop. We used to work at and ride for the team that he had, the local team in Brisbane.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, hang on.
Thanks to
He's
Matt
back.
Pointer for that.
He's
Back again.
I put it in the freezer this time, so I should get a couple more minutes.
We've had a few of our listeners and viewers have sent some suggestions for you on the phone.
Yeah.
But anyway,
expecting this
it
to
was
buy you a new
fantastic.
phone.
So we got to you're weighing up some of the challenges you've had and putting your the tour. So keep going, mate. It was fantastic.
Just before we do,
Yeah.
Skull said he changed to a strawberry. Keep going.
No, it's been challenging. It's been challenging. And then obviously with Lucas and Simon crashing out there just as the mountains came around, left us really, really on the back foot there because, there's been so many mountain stages in the last eight days, and we've only had one climber who's on GC, so it sort of has limited the movement that Esteban has been able to make. But we've been trying, and Bling had a good third place in that medium mountain stage coming out of the Pyrenees, and the guys have been chasing the green jersey points every day, and it's definitely been a challenging tour. Finishing with having 5 riders and one guy basically injured from the start and losing out 2 of our best climbers so early in the race has been hard. It's been hard, but it's a grand tour. You have some good ones, you have some bad ones, you have some good luck and some bad luck, and we haven't had things go exactly how we want this Tour de France, but we certainly haven't given up.
I can just say one thing. I'll just say, sorry, mate. That continuing on with that. I mean, when you judge how a team has gone in the tour by 8, their results, stage wins, placings, and then getting into breakaways. But overall, for a major sponsor, it's how much you attention you get on television, how often you get mentioned. And I've got to tell you, kudos to the team. You have been mentioned a lot every day. It's been bike exchange, the attacking style, what you've been doing for the race for the green jersey. So every day you've been getting good coverage on the international media. So as far as that's concerned, it's been a pretty good tour.
Yeah, no, it's you come to the tour, you come to these races, you want to walk away with a stage win. At times, or depending on who your roster is, you got big ambitions for our general classification. Obviously, we put our eggs into that basket for the Giro more than here, and then we pack up from here. And August is a really, really busy month of racing before we start the Vuelta. So still a lot of racing to go this season, and we'll just finish off the first 2 days and then think about what we got for the rest of the year.
I was just going to say, what's the biggest positive to come out of the last 3 weeks in France, Whitey?
I think the way, internally, I think the way Luca, Mezgets, and Michael have really gelled well. They were planning on riding together in March. Luca was a close contact with a COVID case, so we couldn't send them together in Paris-Nice. And there was a couple other things, and Luca got COVID, so they haven't done any races together. And to come together as a lead-out guy in a race at this level, and for those guys to gel, is the way they have gelled has been a real positive, and those two will be off to the Vuelta together. But I think that's been a real positive internally, and I think the commitment we get from the guys to do their role every day, right to the death. Even though we have been chasing an uphill battle with this green jersey, but the guys have never given up, and that's always a pleasing thing to have a committed team who just gets on with it.
Well, Tom Maloney on the comments, he backs up. He says, Bike Exchange and Whitey have done a magnificent job for the Aussie couch peloton, keeping us on the edge almost every stage. Iffy. So you got a lot of support back home, and it's justified, mate, because as Iffy said, you've been having a crack every day, and certainly things like crashes and things you can't predict, it's out of your control. But as long as you're up there having a crack, that's all you can ask for. And with a positive mindset moving forward, onward and upward, for who knows what could happen at the old Tour of Spain. It's obviously been a happy hunting ground in the past for the team as well.
Yeah, definitely. And Yeah, we said the Giro was a real success. We obviously went into aiming at winning the Giro, but Simon had some rough patches in that first part of the race, but overcame that and finished off the Giro very, very strong for winning one of the Queen stages and finishing on the podium. And we've got to look forward, and that starts as quick as after the Olympics. The guys come back, and we're back into it with San Sebastian and all our August program before the Tour of Spain starts.
All right, before we let you go, and Phil as well, predictions for the time trial, lads. We've got a lot of degenerate gamblers on this detour that tune in, and they want tips. They want winners. We've tipped a few, and it's mainly been flat stages when Cavs won. Outside of that, we've given you donuts. But today's time trial, I'll start with you, Phil. Who do you think is going to get the chocolates?
Well, I suspect Pogacar will win. He's pretty hot in the time trials. But the battle is for second place now, and it's going to be a ripper between Carapaz and Vingegaard. And I've gone for Vingegaard to win the time trial, but I'm not sure how many time trials, I'll be absolutely honest. And let's talk about Ben O'Connor. He's fighting for his fourth place today. It's going to be a tough one for Ben to keep that fourth place, but I really hope he pulls off something special.
What do you think, Waddy?
I'm going to go for Wout van Aert. For the win today in the TT. Like Phil said, there's two big battles today. One's for second and third, one's for fourth and fifth. I think after that, everything's pretty solidified. I think with the GC front. But my money's on Wout van Aert.
Stuart McIntosh wanted to know, Waddy, if you're a GC contender like Ben O'Connor and you're not quite at the top level for a TT, what can you do to close that gap?
Hold on to the car.
Not too much today. Not too much today. I think long term, obviously investing more time in aerodynamics, getting on the track or the wind tunnel, and just spending more time on your TT bike. Everyone can improve in their time trialing ability. Not everyone can be a world class time trialer, but the more time you do spend on the bike and refine your aerodynamics and be comfortable in that position will certainly help.
Hey, Phil, you're a Tour de France historian. Is it true, or is it an urban legend back in the early 1900s? To cheat, they had fishing line with a cork on the end of it, and they had that hanging off the back of the car.
Oh, you must be confusing those with Australians, as far as I can see. No, well, they got up to some tricks. I mean, it was a huge. 1903, which was the first one, of course. So people cheated then. They hid in bushes. That's why they put secret controls in, so you made sure that the riders stuck to the route. You didn't know where the controls were. They would make sure you crossed a certain route. Remember, the mountains didn't come in until 1910, but they still had the secret controls. And the following year, as the first four riders got disqualified, 4 months later, before they told Cornet that he'd won the Tour de France because he finished fifth, I think, because they all got in cars, or they took a train in one occasion, took a train to the railway station, and then got out and won the stage. And because people fell asleep at night, they woke up, they didn't know whether they were behind or in front. So a bit different in those days, wasn't it? Not so
we've
much
lost Waddy again.
Bugger him. I had one quick thing.
I think we must buy him a new phone, boys. I think that's right. We must buy him. If I can find my BlackBerry, I'll take it with me next time I meet him.
He'd love it.
It's brand new, so I don't even know if it starts, but I'm sure it will.
Oh, he'd love that. He wants to stick with the BlackBerry. What were you going to say, Scooter?
I think if it's brand new, but still it's an older BlackBerry model, so you might just have to get some two-stroke fuel for it to get it to go.
The man who did BlackBerry gave it to me in Canada when I came off one of those sportive rides with Lance Armstrong. He must have taken pity on me, so he gave me a phone for completing the ride. And,
talking about the Tour de France early days. So the first Olympic road race, it went from Athens to Marathon and return. And in Marathon, you had to actually sign a form. There's an official there. You had to sign a document to show that you actually made it to Marathon and just didn't turn early. And then they had officials stationed along the route to just tick people off. Wouldn't have been that hard to do as an official because there were only 7 riders in the first road race at the Olympics. It didn't come back in again, I think, until 1930. 2 or something like that, I think, and then it's been in every year since. Hey, look, with O'Connor, just to follow up, because that was where we're at with Whitey, he's not a time trial specialist, so when he's not on great form, he's a fair way down in these races, but when he's on good form, he's not too bad, okay? So he was 31st in the first time trial here, but in the 2 lead-up races, which is to Romandy and the Dauphiné, he finished 13th, I think it was, in the Dauphiné, 33 seconds off the win. It was only 16K time trial, but 13th, that's not bad. And 16th in the Tour of Romandy, and he was in the stage, in time trial stage, also 16Ks, but only 1 second behind Stefan Kung.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Didn't he win the under 23 Aussie Championship once?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he did. If you've got an hour, I'll just look it up for you because I keep those.
He finished second in the mountain stage in the Tour of Tassie. I can tell you that because I remember it. Was that
a time trial? Was that a time trial?
No, it was uphill. But
talking about time trials.
Well, okay, I just wrong. He did. But
stage 20,
I reckon he will beat Wilco Kelderman in the time trial today, and I think he's a better time trial than what people have been saying. As you were just, you pinched my fire. Because yeah, that's fine. But I can live with that, Scotty, because you're right on the ball, and I agree with you. I think I'll give a trifecta.
Boys, he was 3rd in the under 23 national title in 2016. I was nearly right.
There you go.
Yeah, road race or in time trial that was it?
Time trial, yeah.
Who won it? Who won that year?
Oh, I can't answer the impossible questions, Scotty. I have no idea.
Sorry. I'll be able to find that. I'll 2016.
My trifecta is the Pog, Kung, and Van Aert, 1, 2, 3, and I reckon Ben will take about 20 or 30 seconds out of Kelderman.
Well, Kirsty, who always gives us the odds, Woot is favourite $2.75, and the Pog is $3.50 with Kung. So there's your top 3.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
It was the Scottson brothers. Callum beat his older brother Miles in 2016 in the under 23 Australian Time Trial Championship with Ben in 3rd place. How much
did he beat him by? I suppose he beat him by miles, did he?
Callum was 20 seconds ahead of Miles, and Ben was a minute 12 behind. And then rider that I used to coach, Alex Morgan, was 4th. But I wasn't coaching him then.
That's why he was on, probably, was it, Scotty? Because you only got 4.
When I was coaching him, he finished 2nd by less than it was like 10ths of a second or 2 seconds or something like that when I coached him. Yeah, he would have won if I wasn't coaching him, obviously.
All right, well, we better get to a sponsors break.
This podcast has gone downhill over 3 weeks.
Oh yeah,
what time is it? 4 minutes to finish.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna after the break. We're going to talk about Mohoric's victory salute because there's a bit to unpack there. But we'll let you go, Phil. And as we always say, keep the donations coming in to the Koreka Foundation. I think KRIEGA.co.za/Peloton.
Join Phil. About $250, by the way, over last night, which I thank you all very much for that. And the money's now with Koreka. And we're building up for the prize run. And for sure. We're going to continue for a while longer too. So thank you all very much indeed.
All right,
okay, guys. Well,
thanks, Mark.
I'll get back to my day job, and
we'll check in tomorrow, same time.
We'll see a good time, Charles. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Then we'll shoot the podium in front of us. Okay, guys. Thanks, all the best. Ciao, Scott. Yeah.
Phil Liggett, Voice of Cycling, absolute legend. Time for an ad break. I'm going to check my text messages, Scooter, because I think there's a photo in there. Is it?
There is.
Heinrich Hauser dropping his shame?
It is, and it's not. I've sent it to you, but it was sent to me by Kirsty Baxter.
All right. Well, I'll load that into the system. We'll have a look at that after the break. All right. Well, here's a quick word from our sponsors and great mates. Let's Go Motorhomes and Bike Exchange.
We all love an open road, and often they're easier to find during quieter times of the year. In a Let's Go motorhome or camper van, you can road trip in comfort and style any time of the year. When the roads are quiet, you can get where you want quicker and easier without jostling for position. Chances are your destination won't be as busy too, which means you'll enjoy your travelling adventure even more. Plus, if you book a Let's Go motorhome or camper van in the off-season, you pay less, meaning you can travel longer. There's a type of motorhome or camper van for everyone, so you won't have to compromise on what you want. The whole range has the things you need to help create the perfect road trip experience, including heating and cooling, keeping you comfortable on the road all the time. Whether there's 2 or 6 of you, there's a motorhome for everyone. And in a Let's Go motorhome, your journey can be just as fun as the destination you want to reach. The open road is calling. Check out some of our great offers online today and start planning your next road trip. Rain, hail, or shine.
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match. But not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Thanks again to Let's Go Motorhomes and, of course, Bike Exchange, our great partners. And Samantha in says, fellas, what did you think of Mohoric's victory salute? Also, Dylan Tuns from Bahrain Victorious had his mobile phone taken from the police raid. He was told it would be returned in 2 months. Jeez.
Yeah, I think they all had their mobile phones taken, the whole all the riders. Yeah, had computers, mobile phones. Yeah.
So obviously there's 2 ways to look at this salute. One, it was to silence the critics because they've done nothing wrong, and it's like, well, just back off. Or some people are obviously saying, what happened with Armstrong, 2004 tour, when they did do something wrong, and it was all about, being quiet. I mean, at the end of the day, no one knows.
Yeah, he went into detail to say what he was meant by it. So you can only take him at his word. And he said it was to silence the critics. He said, they've done nothing wrong. And he went in detail in the after-race interview saying what it meant. He wasn't around in the Armstrong time, so you can only take him at his word.
Well, I know what he said, but I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, no one knows, like, You hope with 100% assurity this is a drum up, which is the camp that we're in. But at the same time, your brain's going, what is going on? Like, even if it was just a hunch and it was a disgruntled sports director that's going, hey, this is shit, investigate them or whatever. This is the problem with the whole process. Like, it's just created so much uncertainty. And that's why we said, like, if it is proven to be incorrect, there needs to be, hey, well, hang on. There needs to be some sort of what's the word? Remuneration?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compensation.
Yeah. Similar. But look, the media is partly to blame. The French media love to go down this path sometimes. There was the start of a story the other day where some riders, unnamed, hearing funny noises coming from the back of the riders' bikes from Bahrain Merida, near in the freewheel. Like, is there a secret motor in there? And someone said, oh, and I heard it on Pogacar's bike as well. Hey, seriously?
It's called windburn.
No, that's total bullshit. We've had two motors within cycling actually discovered, and that was an under-19, cyclocross rider and a master. Both the cyclocross rider, you actually feel bad for her because it was her father and her brother that were dodgy, that would have dragged her into that. But in these team situations, people don't realise that you've got how many mechanics, 4 or 5 mechanics at a race, plus all the soigneurs, plus the directors, plus the riders. There are so many people that would know about the mechanical doping, and they all swap teams from year to year, yet there's still no stories, no proof, no evidence whatsoever that any of the pros have had motors in their bike. So I think that's, the Cancellara stories from back in the day. The guy was just the strongest. Look at his power data. He was an absolute horse. That's why he beat them. He was better. So no motors involved at all.
And the thing is, it's never going to change because it gets the clicks. It gets clicks.
Oh, yeah, it gets the clicks and speculation. This is what's so bad about this, is that this is the big news story. Oh, and most people, because of the history of cycling, will just come back with, see, still the same. And I see the comments all the time. I was on Zwift, doing a Zwift ride a couple of weeks ago. After the first time we saw Pogacar, light it up, I think it might have been in the time trial. And just someone in the comments just said, how about the Tour de France? Pogacar's got special fuel. I'm like, what? So that's just the general that, he's the best, so he must be cheating to do it, which is unfortunate. We know where we're at and why we're there. But this sort of situation just doesn't help if there's very little evidence at all. 50 police officers taking a phone for months. What other workplace can people just, obviously it's French law, but how ridiculous that, you can just come into someone's workplace without any evidence and proof and do this. Now, if there is and they find something, that's great. I'll totally support it. But I just think they've really gone about this the wrong way. And I think there's a fair bit of bullshit to it. The signal at the end, and I think you're right, John, he was talking about silence, not silence the lambs, but silence the critics. And what's unfortunate is that all I can remember of a cyclist doing that was Lance. And it was with Filippo Simoni to say, hey, Omerta, you shut up. If you know something, you shut up. That was then. This is now. So I saw the connection to it. And I thought, obviously, Mohoric didn't think that. But there will be a lot of people that do. And then this is the team that got a raid from the police. And then you connect that back to Armstrong trying to tell Simeone to shut up. Yeah, just an unfortunate, choice of demonstrations.
Now, moving away from that, I wanted to bring this up.
What a great ride. You rode a 56 chainring too. Incredible.
I loved it. Interestingly, I love the Pog, Pogacar. I love it. And I like his honesty. He's obviously a really nice bloke, but some of the questions he gets asked in the post-race interviews are stupid.
Like last night.
What happened last night? What happened?
Well, 2 days ago, are you worried about vinegar? He went, really? He started to have a go, and then he sort of backed off and went his nice way. But you saw it, he didn't mean he would think, what have I got to worry about? I'm funny.
He said that. He actually said that. What have I got to worry about? Which
and then
he's arrogant.
Yeah. And then he backed it all down. But it's just a stupid question. Yeah, and the guy actually said, "Will it be a bit like last year with you and Roglic?" Freaking hell, it was a bloody mountain
on the time trial.
Yeah. He said,
"Well, hey, lose 6 minutes in a time trial. Hey, well, it's been done before. Now, of course, it hasn't at this level. No, it hasn't. But I'm sure there have been people I've lost more than 6 minutes in a time trial, but I wasn't trying to win the tour. But he said that. He said, "What have I got to worry about?" And then there was that moment on there.
It must be hard being that interviewer trying to come up with new angles because you're like, you're killing it.
Ask something decent. Don't ask stupid bloody questions. Absolutely.
All right, John, on the spot right now. I'm Pogacar. What are you going to ask me after the finish? Go.
Could you sign this jersey for me?
It's stupid.
Here's a kangaroo pin.
No, he's having a coffin pin. Corbin, eh?
Hey, was it John? Do you know if it was because I watched it as well, and I can't remember now if it was Seb PK who's been doing the post race interviews. His radio tour. But there was one day the other day, like maybe the day before, that it was someone else that did it. It was a different voice, but I wasn't sure last night because he's great. He's really good.
Yeah, no, he's been really good, but except for last night. but it wasn't so much the stupid question. That's fair enough. I'm not having to go with that. I liked the way he answered. Straight away he went, why would I be? And then he sort of realised he was sounding a bit arrogant. He changed, but you could see that little bit in him. He's a tough cookie.
Yeah, it's like Big Nick. Big Nick, mate. He was a nice guy, but
Scooter.
Yeah.
Kirsty, about the change.
Thanks KB for sending that through. That's exact. Now I was working for the TV live broadcast, so I was to grab Heino, came across the line, went round the corner. We ran after him to get him to do the TV interview, like the post-race interview for the winner straight away. But around the corner, where the race is there in Ballarat, you go around the roundabout first corner, there was no signal for the camera to reach that far. So we've gone to go live and the signal wasn't working. So we had to bring him back up around the roundabout, the final corner. And he went to get on the bike. And that's when I realised his chain had come off because he couldn't pedal. But his chain's come off. So we had to fix that first before I had the producer, our friend Ian Gates, in the ear screaming at us, where are you? Where are you? I'm like, so chain's come off, buddy. Just settle down. We'll get in there.
Screaming.
No, that's okay. See, he would have been very polite, like Scott.
Excuse me, Scott.
Kindly just come back around. That'd be
Now, I read a little bit of the technical side of what happens with Cav and why his chain comes off so often. And I think it's something to do with when he crosses the line, not only does he stop pedaling, he actually pedals backwards. He goes and pedals backwards, and that, with a little bit of restriction in the freewheel, causes the chain to sort of kick, and it comes off from the bottom of the chain or the other way, from the bottom going backwards, and just comes off. It makes sense when you think of it like that, because you've got it's not from your front derailleur is holding it up there, but there's nothing down the bottom, and he goes the other way. He goes backwards with his pedal motion. He crosses the line, throws it, and goes backwards.
Which is what Heino must have done there as well, I guess. Yeah.
He's got a point from David. He says most of the current young pros don't know all the gestures and comments that said in the worst doping generation they were 10 years older than.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
that's true. Exactly.
Yeah. For us that know the sport for that long, you see, Matthew do that, and you think, that's. You start to second guess it. Now, he wasn't thinking that, but yeah.
The thing you got to remember, the one main thing for Matey, as a friend Matey, there is no omerta in cycling now. So he's not telling anyone to be quiet, because that's not how they think, or how they even. I really like the situation when there was a crash really early, like 5K from the start, and rides were all over there, and so the POG decided to try and close it down. So he went to the front and tried to tell, and the guy from Trek, what was his name, just ignored him. He just kept going. I'm not listening to anybody. I'm going.
Yeah, you make a good point there, John, because during that Lance time, that was definitely the case, that you didn't say, people didn't say things. Whereas I've spoken to lots of the riders in the current peloton, and they will go directly to the team management if they think that someone in the team is doing something, because the risk is they get caught, the sponsor pulls out, that team's over, and the other riders that are clean lose their job. So if there is any sort of inkling that they've got someone in the team that might be doing something untoward, they've got to be incredibly secretive, because their teammates do call them out now. So that's something that certainly has changed. It doesn't get spoken about very much as well outside of the peloton. So, but that is the case these days.
All right, I think we're done.
My mic was muted. I would never intentionally do that to myself. Let's make that clear.
You do it to me all the time, but anyway, that's fine.
Did you give me permission? Is that what it was? I might have muted it.
Yeah, maybe. I think it might have changed. Anyway, we'll work it out off air.
Can you give me the ability to do that, to mute your mic?
I'm worried. Can you, Scooter? Can you see the comments and then just click one? And then if it pops up, anyway, we'll do some tests.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. So, but hey, there is one there. Can you go to the third last one from T Kingo?
Yep.
See that? We're talking about the losing time in a time trial, and he's saying that in the heat of Albi, he managed to cycle up someone's drive in the Masters time trial. It was the World Championships to lose 6 minutes. So it is possible, but it does further highlight the Masters races are choppers. Good on you, Kingo. Yeah.
He'd be spewing. That's classic. Thanks for all the support, guys. YouTube.com/Detour Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Keep telling your mates. Appreciate all the support and stay involved because the best contributor wins a $500 Let's Go Motorhome voucher. We're going to do a recap show on Monday and we'll announce the third and final winner of the $500 voucher. And then, obviously, as we said, by the end of the Tour of Spain, we'll have a winner for the other vouchers for donations for the Careca Foundation. So keep those coming as well. But, yeah, anything before you want to go, Scooter?
Ben Stiller? Ben Stiller? Any,
did we wind Phil up about that? How he did the tweet, or was that off air? Okay.
That was off air,
I think. Yeah.
Well, he tweeted Phil Liggett. He said, highlight of the day, at Phil Liggett holding the mic like the legend he is, at Bob Roll at his command post. Going to be exciting finish. Now, we said to Phil, hey, mate, that's a great sign if you've DM'd him. But he said he's not good at getting back sometimes. He messaged him when he was in Manhattan to catch up.
Keep working on him. We'll keep working
get your people to talk to my people. Yeah. One of those situations, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get your people to talk to my people.
Hopefully, we get Ben Stiller on. In fact, let's just announce that he's on tomorrow night. Let's bump the hits up, and if he doesn't, we'll just come up with an excuse.
Now, I've got a little message for the assistant DS of Bike Exchange, Dave McPartland, who seems a really nice guy. When you meet him, he seems a really nice guy. Yeah. Well, he sent me a text yesterday asking me if I needed a room in Paris.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a smart ass.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought he might have had a brain fade, but no, he's been a smart ass. Good on him. Hey, he's a border boy, so he's from Albury. I'm from Wodonga. So always got respect for Dave McPartland. Good lad. Good lad.
Yeah. Well, who knows? We might get back to the Tour de France again one day.
I'll be back next year, mate. I'm back. I'm doing all 3 Grand Tours next year. You can run the detour from here, and I'll just
no. I'll just flat out refuse unless I get on the gravy train as well. I'll come over the tour.
You've got too much going on in your life, mate. You have just got so much going on in your life. You're running podcasts and making shows. I've only just got to get away from home.
No, but when it comes to the tour, I want to get back there. I'm sick of this Melbourne lockdown. On that.
Okay.
Hey, who's vaccinated? Who's not? That's the thing.
Yeah, well, that's it.
I'm done.
I'm turning 40
you can
next
go to the tour
month,
then.
So I'll get AstraZeneca. No drama.
Oh, hang on. What? You're 40 next month?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. What are we doing in lockdown for that?
Nothing. Next year, I'm throwing a 20th anniversary of my 21st party. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Just don't even bother this year. Write it off.
30th.
Right.
I remember your 30th. I went as Vivian from the Young Ones.
That's right. It was good times. So next year, I'll do another dress up, and we'll do it in Melbourne. Be a huge party. We'll give away tickets on the detour. Anyway, we're losing track.
Yeah, we're dribbling.
Thanks, guys. All right, we're dribbling. See you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.
This is the winning ride of the Tour de